This has been such a beautiful and exciting occasion to be not only the reunion that I have dreamt of for so many years with the Royal Scottish National Orchestra, but to have it be the occasion of the 40th anniversary of Varèse Sarabande. And as I say so often, Varèse, celebrating Varèse means so much to me because it's not so much about Varèse, but it's about the spotlight at Varèse is always on the composers themselves. And so to do it, not only present a concert like this with the orchestra, but to have so many incredible composers with us. We have Diego Navarro, and Patrick Doyle, Rachel Portman, David Arnold, all here in attendance for this special celebration of their music, of their lives and careers, and role in Varèse Sarabande history. Has just been so beautiful and meaningful to me, and it was so great to see what it meant to the audience to have these special special artists in their midst.
Tonight I was singing a piece from the end credits of Great Moments in Aviation. Well, it means the world to me. It's the first time I've sung in this concert hall, and it's the first time I've sung with this orchestra. And this is an orchestra I've seen play at the proms and I've seen live, so I just was completely and still am thrilled to be here. Well, it feels really glamorous, actually. Opera is really my passion, but I would love to start doing more concert work like this because the audience is just really receptive. And I don't know if that's just because we're in Glasgow or if people just really love film music, probably a little bit of both.
So it was wonderful to hear Emma and hear the RSNO play it so incredibly beautifully. In its full glory of sound that they make, it's incredible. And it was so silky and it was just great. And then we heard Never Let Me Go, which is a much more intimate piece, again with great solos on the cello and the violin with the leader as well. And then we heard this piece from Great Moments in Aviation, which is fantastic to hear in concert. I've never heard it in concert before. And to have such an incredible singer as Sofia Troncoso, rising up with her voice above this wonderful orchestral sound was, really thrilling for me. It was great. It's great. I mean, it's like the music's liberated, and I think, we're so used to listening to things that we know or things that we've written. In my case, in recordings, it's a completely different thing when it's live, and when you can actually see the craftsmanship of all the musicians, playing what they're doing and the enthusiasm, and to be in a big audience like this is fabulous to experience it all. So it's great. Well, it was fantastic for me to be included in this Varèse 40th anniversary celebration. I mean, it's what an achievement, what an amazing, Robert Townson and the RSNO are championing film music and, and showing it in all its glory. And so I'm really thrilled to be a part of it. I feel very lucky and honoured.
Tonight I was playing three beautiful pieces that I'm so thrilled to have gotten to perform tonight with the RSNO. The first one was the Spartacus love theme that is from one of the most great scores of all time by Alex North, and it was arranged for me by the wonderful Lee Holdridge, a veteran composer and arranger in Los Angeles. And the second piece was the most beautiful score, also Elmer Bernstein's To Kill a Mockingbird, and that was arranged by Austin Wintory, another Los Angeles composer. And I had the honor of actually getting to create my own opening solo cadenza that opens the whole work, which was really fun for me. And then to close the program, one of the most famous melodies of all time, Henry Mancini's Moon River, originally arranged for the great flutist James Galway, and we were able to adapt it for an encore. And I got to write an intro solo cadenza for that too, which was such an honor to get to be a little creative among these giants and gorgeous music. This is so magical for me. This is a dream come true. I can't even put into words. RSNO has such the world-class reputation, and I've always heard them on recordings and I've seen them on TV, and to actually hear them in person live and to be together with them on the stage is such an honor and a thrill beyond words. And I can see why, you know, personally, everybody is also so nice, and to have those great souls coming through the music, showing what great people they are, as well as the highest level musicians. It is really an experience I'll remember the rest of my life, and this is a magical land and magical people.
I know for years Robert Townson's relationship with this incredible world-class orchestra and choir. I know the whole story, you know, because we are very close friends. We are brothers, and to be able to take into consideration that this is my first time in Scotland, you know, in Edinburgh first and in Glasgow. So to be able, the first time I come here, to work with one of the best orchestras in the world, it's just a dream come true. You know? I mean, as a composer and a conductor, it's incredible. Being a film music composer and also having a career as a conductor, to be able to conduct this incredible Scottish tour in Edinburgh and Glasgow with such a huge, incredible celebration, the 40th anniversary celebration of the largest film music label in the world. It's just a dream to me as well, as a part of this community, international community of film music composers. You know? It's really incredible. It's the best option ever for me.
I have always loved Scotland, and so many happy memories of the visits that I have from the past with Jerry Goldsmith, Elmer Bernstein, Joel McNeely, John Debney, Cliff Idleman, also Stu Phillips and Frederick Calgorn. We've had an amazing history in this city, in beautiful Glasgow. And it also then meant so much to me to show the city to some of my composer friends that have not been here before. Diego Navarro's first visit to Scotland, Sara Andon, our flute soloist tonight, her first visit to Scotland. And to see the impression that the people of Glasgow and Edinburgh made on them was so touching to me, because it's so much a part of my heart and memories of this beautiful place.
First person we heard was Four Brothers, which was a film I did with John Singleton a while ago, and I mean it's hugely different to the second piece, which obviously was Independence Day. Four Brothers was a film set in Detroit, and I wanted the soundtrack to sort of reflect that very late Motown period when Motown Records moved from Detroit to Los Angeles, and the Temptations were doing things like Ball of Confusion, you know, so all that sort of very dark, sort of soulful stuff, and kind of like and also there was a lot in the blaxploitation movies. There was a huge explosion of artists, soul artists and R&B artists who were doing soundtracks, and Marvin Gaye did Trouble Man, and you know it took its sort of lead from that sort of thing. So it's an odd one in a way, in what is effectively more a sort of symphonic film concert, to do something which is sort of soulful and different. But they played it, thank God. And then of course Independence Day, which is everyone at 11. There's several considerations when you're trying to do a live performance. One is how much of the recorded material is performable. Sometimes there are moments in a film where it's programmed or electronic for a reason. You know, there's a temperament to that sort of sound and an energy in that sort of sound and production which isn't acoustic. So how do you make that transition from studio to the stage? Sometimes you do a straight adaptation, and sometimes you have to do it with playback. But if you're doing a piece which has to go out to an orchestra that won't have that facility necessarily, you try and concentrate on the concert pieces that I do, of things that are playable. So it's almost an entirely performable evening. It does mean that there's quite a few things that I couldn't do. But maybe that's another concert. But I do have. This is an analog evening. There is a semi-digital evening to be had somewhere as well. "40 years sounds a long time for anything, and I keep thinking about how old I was when they started, which is sort of youngish, but not as young as I was hoped it would be. But you know, to be mentioned in the same breath as, you know, Elmer Bernstein and Jerry Goldsmith, you know, sort of giants of this genre who created genres of music. And I mean, what's so astonishing is that when you come to a concert, or when you hear like this great music played, people respond to great tunes. You know, they respond to great themes, and I always try and write themes. I like musical themes as opposed to sort of texture or rhythmic things, and I know they work for certain things, but and you find that more and more often when you're playing it in front of an audience, they really lift when they hear a great tune, and this kind of evening is riddled with them. So yeah, I mean, to be considered, never to be never mind being asked, is a lovely thing, because you're in this amazing hall with an incredible orchestra and choir, and I don't have to do anything. So I just remember the pain you go through to get to the point where you can hand something over. But this one, literally, I'm sitting in a chair and I'm going, this is great.
I was very surprised to hear Nanny McPhee played tonight. Well, it's the first time I've heard it live. Obviously I've got the album to it, so that was a surprise. Obviously Robert and my agent Maggie had, because she looks after my library, had a little secret discussion, and so I didn't know it was on the programme, so that was a great surprise. And the other piece was a violin romance which I wrote, which comprised of all the themes from As You Like It, which was directed by Kenneth Branagh, and I'm very fond of the piece, and I love to hear different violinists play it, and the ladies tonight did a fantastic job, as did the orchestra. I'm thrilled to be back in Glasgow, of course I am, very proud. I got to know Robert through Henry Mancini. I met Henry Mancini as a young composer in Los Angeles, in his office in Sunset Boulevard, and I'd been talking about a score I was doing, and he said, who's recording it? I said, well, there's no... I didn't know anything about the record industry then at all, and he recommended, he said, you've got to see Bob Townson. So that's how I contacted Bob, and he recorded, well, he published dead again. So that was 30 years ago. So he's been very, very supportive, you know, through all this time, and I'm very, very grateful to him. He's a real connoisseur and an enthusiast, and a major sort of cheerleader for composers. And to see him back in my home city is a thrill.
My dream, as I mentioned from the stage tonight, is that this is the beginning of a new, exciting chapter in the relationship between myself, Varèse Sarabande Records, and the Royal Scottish National Orchestra. I have, of course, so many other concert projects and recording projects, and I can't wait to be reunited again and begin a renaissance of the collaboration and the work that we have had in the past, and with so many new ideas of what we can do in the future.